It's one thing to recognise that Communist China is now a global strategic challenge and a potential military threat, but quite another to make all the domestic changes that this requires, like ensuring that we aren't handing sensitive information on a platter to our potential enemies. Today's Australian newspaper, thanks to the good work by the Coalition cybersecurity spokesman, Senator James Patterson, reveals that there are almost 1,000 surveillance and recording devices in federal government departments, almost 1,000 manufactured by Chinese companies that are part owned by the Communist Party. Now, these devices in sensitive departments such as Finance, the Attorney General's Department, Foreign Affairs, even Defence, are ones that have already been banned by our Five Eyes security partners. Every Chinese business is required by rigidly enforced Chinese law to cooperate with Chinese intelligence agencies if they're asked to hand over data. The worry, especially with these Communist Party-linked companies, is that their software could be coded to give Chinese spy agencies a backdoor into their data from places inside our Defence Department or Foreign Affairs or other corridors around Canberra. Now, when I read this, I thought, you have got to be kidding. This is a monumental fail by our government departments. I don't blame the politicians here. No politician, Labor or Liberal, gets a briefing about the type of camera installed by public servants in a public service department. But really and truly, the bureaucrats should have been on top of this, particularly given the point I made, 5 other Five Eyes countries have already banned these particular companies and cameras. Obviously, it's essential this equipment is removed from government agencies more or less immediately. We're told that's now underway, but what it highlights is our need as a nation to make ourselves less vulnerable to China and more ready to accept the costs and burdens that this might involve. Why do we have Chinese-made equipment in sensitive facilities? Well, because too many government purchasing decisions are made on the basis of cost alone. And China has been subsidising its IT companies precisely to create this kind of exposure that we now have. Why do so many Chinese collaborations occur in our universities? Because money-hungry administrators and academics have put extra cash ahead of the national interest and allowed China to buy a technological edge they shouldn't have. Why are some of our businesses so exposed to Chinese economic pressure? Because they were too focused on short-term gain and not thinking about long-term security. This newly relieved additional exposure to potential Chinese spyware is yet another wake-up call that should be heeded by all our decision-makers, public and private.